Are you spending money on things that are momentary pleasures, or are you investing your money, your hard-earned money, into things that will help you grow and develop as a human being?
As simple as that. It's not about the money. It's about what it's giving you. It's about the needs that are being met through that money. It's about who you are by having or not having money, by spending or not spending money. Hey everybody, this is Bianca.
And this is Emilia.
And welcome to another episode of Evolve Ventures, where we are making evolution possible for growth-minded humans like each and every one of you that shows up here every week, twice a week preferably, because we release episodes twice a week, through vulnerable lessons, stories, and technology. We hope you enjoyed our last episode, 172. It's not that you don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. We dove into all the goods around that. So if you're interested in that episode, head on over to that. For today, Motivation Monday 173, is your relationship to money hurting you? I know this was an area that I really struggled with for a long time. Your girl spent money on everything. I had a new pair of shoes every week. I was going out to dinner all the time. I was doing everything and anything under the sun, spending money like a mad woman. So I wish I had this episode before when I was younger and a couple of years ago. So, where do we want to start with this?
So I think that keeping this, quick and clean. No
more quick and dirty.
No quick and dirties here on this Motivation Monday. But if you guys need that, quick and dirty, we can do that too. But all right. Anywho, we had released an episode about money, and this is a topic that I want to talk about more for our listeners, because honestly, money is I feel like it's right up there with sex. It's such a taboo topic that obviously, if you're looking to talk more about it, there's obviously resources out there. But when it comes to the dinner tables that you probably grew up around or grew up in, there probably wasn't a ton of conversations around that, right? So it's just like relationships, right? If it's not really talked about quite often at the dinner table, there's a high degree of probability that you might not feel super confident in your ability to either create more revenue or income, your ability to optimize your expenses, or spend less money on things that don't really contribute to the lifelong journey that you want to have, or to save money and to save it smartly. And I think that doing so this is a skill that I want every single one of our listeners. As we evolve, we have to also evolve our relationship to things that make the world go round. And we all know, whether we like it or not, money is a concept, money is a tangible, money is the currency that makes the world go round, right? That's what we know it as in a large majority of our listeners' lives, is the ability to tap into essentially everything that we think we want. So I want every single one of our listeners on this Monday to start to look at their relationship with money and to start to analyze that from a scientific standpoint, right? As someone who has been a natural, curious student of life, I've always analyzed my relationships to things, whether it be to my song bowl sitting across the corner of my office, or to the mirror over there, or to money, the concept in general. I've always studied that. And I think that bringing that into the episode for each and every single one of our listeners can help us all cultivate and develop a better relationship with money. Because what I find when I talk to people about money and their relationship with money is oftentimes their relationship to money and what it means to them, and all the values and conversations that they've had, all the negative experiences that they have, right? That relationship is actually hurting them. They're either not earning enough money, right? They're not spending or investing their money wisely, and they're not saving for a future that they want but aren't willing to work for, right? So I guess because you started saying that you used to spend, have different pair of shoes every single day.
Every week, not every day.
Sorry,
Oh
not
my
every day.
God.
That'd be a whole thing. I guess. Okay, so let's start with analyzing the relationship to money, right? So one could look at the new pairs of shoes every single week and say that your relationship with money was actually like a really abundant one where you were willing to spend and everything. But my question is, how do you now realize how much that was hurting you? Because I think that I can sit here and talk about my personal experiences, which, is one thing, but I want to kind of hear it from you now that you have more awareness around your money management, money relationship. What did you leave on the table by doing that type of what I deem unconscious spending? Because you don't realize what you left on the table by dishing it out to things like sneakers, which is a depreciating asset. That's a whole nother thing.
My relationship to money was not abundant in the slightest. I just wanted to feel good.
Yeah.
So I was like, food makes me feel good in this moment. Let me buy food. Going out to dinner with someone is going to make me feel good. Let me do that. Spending money on other people. Oh, maybe they'll love me. Okay, let me do that. Yeah, you smirked at that one. The sneakers. I want to feel significant. I want to have, the nicest pair of shoes. Let me go do that. I want to be the best looking. I want to have the best outfits. Let me go do that. And my relationship with money, I was never taught the value of saving. I was in a family where money was like a culture where money was a scarce thing, but it was always framed in a really negative way. Like, you got to save money because like whatever it was. It was never like, hey, here's how you actually do that. Let me teach you how to do that. Hey, here's what the negative of this is. It was very much like scarcity, but also at the same time, like, my parents loved like luxurious things, right? Bougie Arabs, right? So like,
yeah.
I always used money to make me feel better. It was never, how can I feel better in other ways and save this money so that later on I can have better things, so that later on I can invest that money into something that's going to help build my future. So I went from spending all of my money on stupid momentary things to make me feel better to saving as much as I possibly could and spending money, like, yes, sometimes going and doing fun things, right? Like, you can't be super, frugal, right? But I spent my money on things that were going to really help me grow instead. So like coaches, like different programs I could buy, on books, on all of these different things. And I really know that shifting that relationship to money and what money was giving me and what I was doing with it and what I was getting from it, it allowed me to start saving a lot more money, being able to buy better things like this apartment and everything that I have in it, right? Like, I love my apartment. I love how it looks. And it's because I started being better about my money and then investing that money into things that were really going to help me become a better person and be happier in my life, like books specifically and coaches specifically. Like, I've been investing in coaching for 6 years now. And it's radically changed my life. I am not the person I used to be. Thank God. Because I put my money somewhere else that was actually really good for me.
So it wasn't because of the sneakers, but because of the coaches and the investments that you made. No, but I'm being playful, but I'm serious.
No, I know. Like,
this is a thing. I know.
I miss those sneakers. I looked good as shit. Like,
for
real
sure.
talk. I looked fly as hell. And I was still unhappy. So it's like, was it really doing anything for you?
The paradox of that. So the relationship to money and how is money hurting you? So B, thanks for being vulnerable and kind of sharing your experience with that because I've been there too in different aspects as well. And I think that for all of our listeners to start this money conversation, we started with kind of, do you have the investor or do you have the spender or do you have the saver mindset? Really, what is your money mindset starts to dig into what your relationship is to money and how you're using it to really help solve your problems, right? Because one could look at that like what you just said, and it's like that's how also people use drugs, right? Like to like feel better in the moment. Money can be a similar relationship, just like drugs or any other form of coping. Food, exactly. And so I want to help our listeners cultivate a better relationship to money, because here's the thing: if we start from a negative, scarce foundation, if you will, that will inject fear into all of our other behavior. So I think it's an interesting paradox. And for all of our listeners, I just want this episode to start to help you work through some of those creative juices to analyze, like I said, your relationship to money. Because if you're just spending and using money like a user does, right, to alleviate pain, which the same way is said by just feeling good. If you're just trying to feel good, then you're also subconsciously trying to alleviate pain, right? Because you just want to feel good. And so how are you using money? And therefore, how is money using you? Are you spending money on things that are momentary pleasures, or are you investing your money, your hard-earned money, into things that will help you grow and develop as a human being and contribute and be able to be that version of you that you aspire to be, right?
Can I give a tangible example?
Yeah.
Okay. Last night, I was talking to Em about this. I was in a tough spot last night. So when you're listening to this was a few weeks ago, but I was in a really tough spot last night. Like I was struggling, just to put it out there. And I'm at the gym. And my gym is like 10 minutes away from a movie theater. And I'm like, you know what? Screw it. There's a movie I wanted to see. I looked at the tickets earlier because I actually I was planning on going. And then I was like, no, forget it. Whatever. Like I don't want to spend the money on that. And then I'm at the gym. And when you're in those low states, that effort mindset comes out and you're like, you know what? Forget it. I'm just going to do all of the terrible things that I shouldn't do, right? That's when like binging happens. That's when people like spend on Amazon, right? Like I'm pretty sure there was a study done that like the majority of purchases on Amazon are actually at night, like bulk purchases, because our decision fatigue is so high that we're just likely to just make radical choices.
Yeah. And
so I'm at the gym and I'm like in the middle of my set and I am contemplating my life away. You'd think I was contemplating like buying a house or something with how much I was going through the motions of like, should I do this? Should I not? I really want to go. I want to feel better. I know it'll make me feel better. Ugh, no, I shouldn't go. This isn't a good idea. And I caught myself doing it. Yeah. And I had this moment where I was like, okay, what am I really looking for right now? And I'm like, pleasure and comfort. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I can go to this movie. It's a 3D movie. It's Avatar. So I'm going to spend like $20-something on the ticket. And then I'm going to spend money on snacks because you don't go to a movie theater and not get snacks. And I saved my calories. So I'm like, I can get a big ass thing of popcorn and hammer it in the first 10 minutes. And then I'm going to leave the movie. I'm going to come home. And tomorrow I'm probably going to feel guilty. And I'm like, okay. I'm looking for pleasure. How else can I give myself pleasure in this moment? And I started thinking about the fact that I've been trying to save money because I'm moving to South Carolina next year. I've already made the decision. I've talked about it. I made a plan. I'm like, okay, think about South Carolina. Think about South Carolina. Think about living next to the beach. Oh, this has been your dream for years. Think about living next to the beach. Think about not having freaking snow, right? It's snowing right now. I'm like, I never want to see this shit again. Think about all of these things that you're going to get by not spending this money right now. Think about what you're going to be able to get later.
Right.
Moving expenses, transferring insurances and all of this stuff, right? Driving down there, buying a U-Haul, like all of the incredible purchases I'm going to have to make later. This $40 that you probably would have just spent going to the movies, you now can think about how happy you are not spending it because of what you're going to get later.
Proud of you.
So, corny example, very silly example, but it's that. If I had just used money in that moment to give me what I was looking for, which was pleasure, I would have ended up feeling guilty later.
Right.
And that's how you start building a better relationship with money or with anything. What is this thing serving you? What are you trying to get from this thing?
Right.
And is there a better way to get that need met?
I truly believe that there's nothing better than what you just went through right there. You zoomed into future Bianca and tapped into her to inform present Bianca. That is like the epitome of future pacing and teleportation, which we have on the readiness score, which I'm really excited to bring to our community. But anywho, the things that you just walked yourself through, that's huge. And that's reanalyzing your relationship to money, but more on the longer lines of what is your relationship to discomfort, to delaying your gratification, right? And also how are you shifting into an investor mindset, which you just went literally from a spender mindset, which is go ahead and spend this money now, to use money, versus a conscious thought of like how I want to invest my money in the future, right? It's not like you're going to be clinging onto your money, being super frugal, right? Leaving so much of a launch forward into the future on the table, but rather conscious spending, right? And that's, I genuinely believe conscious investing is where it's at. And that's where I've been able to get to where I am. That's where so many people that I know that are really successful and very wealthy are. That's one of the things that they're doing. They're shifting their mindset from the spender to the investor and understanding how saving in the present moment can pay off dividends in the future. So this was a rather short, long episode, but hopefully this helped the conversation to get going. We're going to talk way more about money. I'm going to share with our community some of the things that I've done to be able to get to where I am at my age, some of the mindset things, some of the things that are actually really great investments versus what's not. And we're definitely going to continue this conversation. So if you have questions that are burning up, maybe you didn't receive this guidance or any guidance, or you want to hear it from vulnerable, empowered women, like please send your questions forward. We're always open to receiving those so that we can curtail these podcast episodes to what you guys need. All right. So B, what's your final takeaway and episode suggestion?
Your relationship with money is so much deeper than just the money.
Facts.
As simple as that. It's not about the money. It's about what it's giving you. It's about the needs that are being met through that money. It's about who you are by having or not having money, by spending or not spending money. So when you can start to understand that, you will be able to start transforming your relationship to it. Episode suggestion 137, a simple trick to have more money.
Whoop.
Oh, snap.
All right. So my episode takeaway for our beautiful listeners on this Motivation Monday is pretty much as basic as this. Your relationship to money will hurt you if you are not conscious about your relationship to money. Whether it be spending, saving, or investing, it can hurt you if you're not conscious about what your current relationship is. That's all I gotta say. All right, my episode is 132. Nope, my bad. 133, growth doesn't have to be lonely. If you're trying to learn about the money tangs, definitely do it with someone. And like I said, we'll be talking more about this. So we're so grateful you joined us in this episode. Happy Monday, y'all. And we can't wait to have you hear all the things that are coming down the pipeline. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.